Do you have any forever beers in your fridge? If so, what are they and who brought them? By forever beer, I mean any alcoholic drink that you or someone brought over. That has been in your fridge forever. And you will literally never drink. I had a case of Mike's Hard Lemonade I recently just threw out that had been in my fridge for like 6 months. Also, I had some random cocktails in a can that had been taking up space for like a year. Figured I would drink it out of desperation at some point. But they were nasty. I have a can of Natty Light that's been my fridge for 3 moves. 10 years. It's more a fridge mascot than anything now. I have a tall boy of Bud Ice my friend brought for my housewarming to keep me humble and remind me where I came from. A beer my barber gave me with Christmas. I was there when he just opened the place. And when his mate and co-owner committed suicide, may he rest in peace. That was 8 years ago. Never changed barbershop. And that beer has some special meaning to me. I had a bottle of Spotted Cow in the fridge for over 2 years. I couldn't bring myself to throw out. But I finally did use it. Outside in the Yellow Jacket trap. Those a-holes loved it. I have a can of Old Milwaukee Light. It was all my dad would drink. He had 3 or 4 30-packs at his house when he passed away. I drank all the rest and kept the last one. I have these weird jam beers that have been sitting there for about a year. Absolutely undrinkable. Not beer. BJT salted caramel whiskey has been sitting unopened on our bar for at least 2 years. I've been hoping somebody would crack it at a party for me. But no takers lol. I recently threw out an unopened can of Bud Ice that I've had since 1996. There's a can of Pabst Blue Ribbon that's been in there since 2019. It almost got tossed to make room for Thanksgiving leftovers. But it managed to just barely make the cut for now. My late grandpa drank Heineken 0.0 before he passed away. I keep the last beer from his last 6-pack in my fridge so that I'll always have one ready for the old man should he ever stop by again. Man, I miss him. My dad brought over non-alcoholic Grolsch like 2 years ago. It can stay in there. I have a bottle of Blue Elise for 1.5 years that at some point me and the girlf was mixing with champagne and got wasted on, and I don't think I'll ever drink that concoction again. I don't have any that last very long. If nothing else, I use them in my water tray in the smoker or briquette grill. If they're decent, I use them for beer batter or a beer soak for cheap cuts of meat. We have a 13-year-old bottle of sake. At this point, neither my husband nor I are willing to remove it out of superstition. It's basically been there the entire time we've lived here. What if taking out of that corner of the fridge opens up the portal to the spirit world? Woman shrugging, medium skin tone, too risky. So it stays. I wish I could post a picture. It has an engraved tag attached to it that says Fridge Mascot Do Not Drink, donated by Stephen Smith. March 14, 1997. It is a Busch 12 ounces can. After 2 moves back in the early 2000s, it had to stay. There are like 12 Busch Lights in my kitchen fridge that have been there at least 3 years. All the beer is usually in the garage fridge, so these will never get touched. Now they are so old they are junk, but I can't bring myself to dump them out. I've got these bottles of one of the best brown ales I've ever had. It was from a small microbrewery in the town I lived in when going to college. They would only make about 200,720 milliliters bottles a year, and 1 year I managed to snag a 6-pack way. Back in 2008, I drank the first 2 and kept the rest. In 2022 I was diagnosed with celiacs and threw out all of my beer. But couldn't quite part with these. I believe the brewery no longer exists, and to me it's kinda like having a piece of history. I have a champagne bottle of Miller High Life that I've had since 2019. I got it around Xmas and didn't drink it. Then in February 2020 I decided I was going to stop drinking completely. It's on the bottom door shelf of my fridge. I bought them lol thinking they'd be interesting to try and know. I have Guinness Zero. Because I want to like it but it's too bitter to me. I have 2 cans left but at this rate it's been since spring. Summer? Last fall? I DK when but I might as well just get the deposit. Peach Bush. Not as good as apple. My friends brought some cherry wheat Sam Adams over like a year ago. Haven't touched them. I had a can of Bud Light in my fridge for about 4 years. It was brought by a buddy of mine who's a contrarian curmudgeon who insisted on drinking cheap, mass-produced beers because everyone else was enjoying the microbrew renaissance. Years later, after he got really into good beer, I told him I had been saving a beer for him. I cracked it and brought it to him, and reminded him that Bud Light used to be his favorite. He insisted that he never drank Bud Light, and I just laughed and told him he had brought it to my house. I have a 10-year-old Modelo in my fridge that my brother-in-law left in my wife's apartment she had. When we started dating, we moved in together after a couple years and that beer came along to our new apartment. We bought a house after a few more years and the Modelo moved with us for some reason. Every time my brother-in-law visits, I offer him his old beer. But he never drinks it for some reason. Lol. My friends and I would call these stranger beers. BC you usually never who left what and when. A friend brought over a 6-pack of Corona 2 years ago as a housewarming gift. He drank 5 while here and we put the final one in our token beer fridge in the garage. We've have plenty of people over. Parties with BYOB potluck and everyone drinks everything. And that fridge has been bare but that single bottle multiple times because no one wanted it. My Phil drank the 6th 2 weeks ago when he come over help with some yard work. What kills me is that we had other beer. He picked the one I've been meaning to toss since the beginning of the summer but kept forgetting. My whole downstairs fridge is a forever beer collector. Last year I hosted a party for my college class and spouses. Boyfriends. Girlfriends. Whatever, I'm in my late 30s. It was a certificate program so we weren't like college kids. Anyway, I opened the mystery fridge to my guests to great success. Lol. As to how we acquired them. IDK. People come over and buy it. Also, whenever my parents visit, my dad brings all these randoms he alleges my sibling left at his house. Sometimes I'll buy a pack of some new kind of mixed drinks to try and not really care for them. I'll drink 1 or 2 and then downstairs go the rest. A bottle of Chateau Montellana Chardonnay that my wife bought after watching the movie Bottle Shock. We each had a glass and decided that the $6 bottle of Chardonnay that we usually buy was far better. It's been in the garage mini fridge for over a year. Purple Monkey Dishwasher. A chocolate peanut butter porter. It sounded like it would be good and I've liked other beers from the brewery. It's not for me, or anyone else I offered it to either. When my wife and I bought our house, the previous owners left us a fridge in the garage. In the freezer, there's a bottle of Fireball that has been there for going on 4 years untouched. I don't drink it. None of my friends drink it. And it'll probably get passed along in 50 years when my wife and I die and the house gets sold. There is a 12 beer that tastes like diesel and a 8.6 that is very famous in France for being a hobo beer, for which I have to write a degustation article for a website. Think my ex still has Schlitz beer in the fridge her dad brought over. He died in 2009. Someone left some hard ciders. There were 4 or so. I drank one and found them sickeningly sweet. I should go dump them down the drain and throw the cans in the recycle since tomorrow is recycle. Pickup day.